Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm John deBary, and we are here with another installment in my cocktail recipe series that we are now calling Drink What You Want, after my book of the same name. This drink is a very straightforward old-fashioned recipe, but where it really shines is in the fennel syrup and the ice. We're going to show everyone some tips and tricks on how to make those ingredients, and then the drink itself, once you have everything prepared, is pretty simple, so it should be accessible to most people. All right, so for this recipe, we need to head to the kitchen for a few minutes to make the fennel syrup and also prep our ice. So let's go. For the fennel syrup, we're going to be using my favorite bar tool, which is a blender actually. It's a really easy way to make quick infusions of simple syrups and even spirits. I'm always trying to toe the line between efficiency and laziness. So first you're going to start out with just plain simple syrup, which I showed you how to make in my Tokyo tea video in the microwave really easily, or you can use the stovetop method if you're so inclined. And then we're going to blend a cup of that simple syrup with about a quarter cup of whole fennel seeds. Blend that for about a minute. So one of the benefits of making syrups in a blender is that it's really fast, but also it whips all the ingredients around. So you can't smell it right now, but my kitchen smells amazing, like fennel. So that's also a really nice added bonus. And next thing we're going to do is strain it out using my second favorite bar tool, which is a gold coffee filter and cork container, and just let it strain through, and you'll get a pretty clear syrup, but it'll still be cloudy because that's just how it works out. Now for my next trick, I'm going to show you how to make pretty clear blocks of ice. If you go to a cocktail bar and you get a old-fashioned drink, you get this really beautiful lump of ice that's clear. It's made in a special machine that costs thousands of dollars and basically the size of a pinball machine. So most people, it's not really a reality. And so for everyone else, I've devised a sort of a little rough trick on how to make clear ice in the freezer using a insulated coffee mug. And the reason why this works is because of something called directional freezing, which means that the ice is freezing from one direction down. And so if you have an insulated mug, all the cold from the freezer is basically coming down on the ice, and it basically creates clear ice. And then there's a little rough patch at the bottom that you can trim off. So the reason why you line the mug is so that you can pull the ice out more easily. If you don't line it, it will take even longer to thaw out and become usable. So what I like to do is just use a freezer bag and then make sure there's no air bubbles, and then fill it up. So it depends on your freezer and how fast and efficient it is, but for me, it takes about a day and a half. But if you're just starting out and you don't really know the timing, I would literally budget 3 days to make sure it's fully frozen. So since this takes so long, I have a tendency to stockpile them. So I have a couple ready to go whenever I need them, like today when I'm filming this video. So just to give you an example of what a nice big chunk looks like right here out of the freezer, and then you pull this out, give it a couple minutes to temper, and then you can use it in your drink, and it would be great. And when you make your ice and you're proud of it and you like it, be sure to tag me and Drinks52 so we can check it out. Okay, so now that we're done in the kitchen, we can head over to the bar and make sure you have all the ingredients you need. We have Japanese whiskey, the fennel syrup we just made, orange bitters, and a grapefruit that you have to be sure to wash with soap and water because you're using the outside of it, and there can be lots of, as I said before, mysterious supermarket stuff on it. So it always helps us to give it a little clean. Japanese whiskey has a cool history. Basically, about 100 years ago, people in Japan wanted to learn how to make whiskey in the Scotch style, so they sent a guy to Scotland to go and learn how to make whiskey, and then he came back with the knowledge, and now they make some of the best whiskeys in the world. So it's just a cool story of people knowing what they want and then getting it. We're going to start with orange bitters. We're going to do about 3 dashes, and you'll see I have this fancy little bottle where instead of using the bottle that it comes in, for me, I like to rebottle it in these little guys because it helps to ensure a little bit more of a consistent dash. But when you're using a recipe, most recipes will call for a dash, and that's usually from like a larger bottle. And if you're using one of these smaller ones, you basically want to double that. So if you see a recipe that calls for 3, you just do 6 dashes into the mixing glass. And then we've got a 1/4 ounce of the fennel syrup that we just made. And if you're a fan of fennel, imagine if you're making this drink, you can use this for other cocktail recipes. You can mix it into like a daiquiri or something like that. So it's not just for this drink. So you can use it up. And then lastly, we're doing 2 ounces of Japanese whiskey. And that's a pretty common structure you'll see for old-fashioned drinks. 2 ounces of the base spirit, 1/4 ounce of a syrup. You can rotate a lot of spirits through or other flavored syrups. So it's fun to play around with old-fashioned riffs, for me at least. And adding ice to the glass and give it a gentle stir for 20 seconds. The reason why you're stirring this versus shaking is because when you shake something, it's a really kind of violent action and you're introducing a lot of air and you're making it really cold and you're adding a lot of dilution from the ice like breaking up in the shaker. So for something like this, that's a little bit more spirit forward and has more of a texture thing. You want to use a mixing glass like this, or you can actually just use the bottom of a Boston shaker. Like you don't need to get really fancy with something like this. I just happen to have accumulated a lot of fun bar tools over the years. So you see we have our nice cube. It like barely fits in the glass, which is kind of the point. It's really fun to have like a big, absurdly large chunk of ice in your glass. But you just want to watch out, like if you're making a drink, you want to make sure everything fits in. So make sure the ice is the right size and the glass is the right size for what you're wanting to do. And then the last thing is a grapefruit peel. I like to use these like cheap peelers because they eventually will go dull. So there's not a whole point in buying a fancy one unless you want. And then I just make sure I have like a nice, like healthy swatch here. And you want to have some of the pith, but not like a ton of it. You'll spray the oils over the drink. And then I like to trim the peel a little bit, just so it's like kind of a little bit more organized. And then cut a hole down the middle here. So you have kind of like this mouth thing going on, and you fold it in half and then perch it on the rim. And that way the peel stays on while you're drinking it, but doesn't get in your mouth. So I love this drink because I created it, obviously, but I love this drink because it is a kind of a lighter old-fashioned style, and so it's perfect for like a late summer. It's kind of refreshing, but it still has that sort of spicy bite to it that you would expect from an old-fashioned. So great for September. Be sure to come back next month, and I'm going to be showing you all how to make a Gibson.